Welcome back to Chelley&Nay, where you know when we're on.
It's poppin'.
We hope you guys are doing well. We are just sitting here sipping some tea. Today we're going to be talking about overcoming your fears and self-doubt. We notice a lot of people who suffer from anxiety and depression. It's kind of skyrocketing at a time like this just because we are in quarantine. So now that you have to stay in, it's like a trap almost, like you feel trapped. We notice that a lot of people are struggling with that. Even those who haven't really suffered from depression or anxiety or any other type of mental health issues, we notice that people are just kind of spiraling. I think it's too much sitting, overthinking, overanalyzing, too much idleness. We feel like that plays a big part in what's going on with people these days. So we just want to touch on that. Before we get into it, I wanted to read you guys this quote about fear. It comes from the movie Apocalypto. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. Comment down below if you've seen it. But I just thought it was a really great quote, and I don't know if that's where it originated from or not, but it's where it originated from for me. So I'm gonna read it for you guys, and hopefully it resonates with you guys as much as it did for me when I heard it. Fear is a sickness. It will crawl into the soul of anyone who engages it. Strike it from your heart. It's deep for me because it's so true, and I feel like we've all been there in different areas or aspects of our lives.
I doubt myself often, and I feel like I let fear and anxiety get the better of me even before I do something. I replay these lines in my head like, don't panic until it's time to panic, or why worry about something that hasn't even happened yet. But it's like, it seems like that's the thing to do because that's what's preparing you for a possible fail. But you're actually just, well, for me at least, I feel like I'm just bringing more negativity and anxiety into my own space where I should be circulating positive energy and just doing what I have to do. Even starting a new job,
that's the worst.
Oh, it is the worst. It's very hard. It's the unknown. It's not being comfortable every day. Meeting new people. It's having to open up to new people. It's, will people like me? There's so many things. Those thoughts are going to take the energy out of you, which is going to, in my opinion, bring you down to a place you don't want to be. And
deeper into your depression and anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, again, I'm not sitting here saying, well, I've mastered how to overcome my own anxieties and fears. Being in the place that I am right now, I can say that I've wasted so much time and energy focusing on the what ifs instead of actually just being confident in my own abilities and remembering that, hey, this person reached out to me for this job or for this audition or for this whatever the case is because they saw something in me. Why am I doubting myself? Like, why am I backtracking?
Why do you not see what the outside person sees?
Definitely. No, it's we always want that opportunity. Oh, if someone could just give me the chance, if I could be great, I could do this. But then someone gives us the chance, and then we're like so scared. And it's natural. I mean, especially when you're super passionate about something, it's extremely natural to feel even more afraid than you would for something you don't care as much about or aren't as passionate about. I'm still in the process of it, but I'm learning to focus on the things I am able to do instead of the things that I might not be able to do or the things that I might slip up doing and someone's gonna call me out or someone's gonna tell me how horrible I am. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, I feel like we've had this conversation so many times. If someone's gonna do that, then that's not the space for you. That's not the place you want to put yourself in. And I know it's so cliche, but those things will make you stronger. I also learned that that isn't even for me, and I've moved on to something that I actually love even more.
And I mean, for myself, I've always been that person who's just afraid of everything. I may seem outgoing and stuff like that, but when it comes to real life situations, I will stop myself from experiencing many things and deprive myself of certain opportunities because of fear. I don't think that much now at all. I think I'm a yes man just because.
You are.
Yeah, but I did that because I was kind of tired of being unhappy, not doing what I wanted to do. I said no to a lot of opportunities from I was young just because I was afraid. And you could not, because of my stubbornness, you could not convince me otherwise. Even if deep down I did want to do it, I was just afraid. And I don't know why. Over time, I learned that I'm just afraid of success, or I was afraid of success. I was more scared to succeed than to fail. Because if you succeed at one thing, what's the next thing? And then what if I don't do well at that? Or so it's like a mix. Scared to succeed and scared to fail. It was a combination of both. And yeah, just over time, I just learned to say, you need to stop what you're doing and you need to just start saying yes. And I literally just started doing that. Like, I just started forcing myself, because it would happen when I was older too. It happened with jobs. Like, I would pick up jobs and I just wouldn't show up the day of, just because I was so anxious. I couldn't do it. And you know, I'm not a person to talk to anybody about anything really. I kind of just keep everything to myself. But getting older and just learning to open up about certain things, that was a big thing for me. It was just holding myself back because of fear. I wish I could go back, and that's one thing I wish I could do, is go back and just take all the opportunities that I missed out on, because I could have done it. I think it's easier said than done, a lot of this stuff, because, for example, even just going out, and anybody who knows me knows that I would just not want to go out just because I didn't want to go. And don't get me wrong, I did go out, but 90% of the time I was uncomfortable, and I couldn't tell you why. I think it's just that social anxiety. But the thing is, in my head, I would want to have fun. I'd be like, oh, go do this, go do that, and I just wouldn't do it. So my first step was just saying yes. So like, I would go, and then I wouldn't fully enjoy myself because I was still anxious, right? Like I said, it's easier said than done, because even though I'm saying yes, that's the first step, but what do you do next? Like, there would be times where I would show up to, maybe it was going to be a party, or maybe it was going to be some show, or like whatever it was, and I would just go back home. Like, I'll pull up right to the door and just drive back home, because I was like, nope.
Sometimes I feel like you do need to sort of not have something in order to have it, or to feel what life is like without it. It's just a random story. A couple of days ago, I went all the way back to like old emails, and I saw one of the casting directors had reached out to me about auditioning for Miley Cyrus's concert. It was to be one of her backup dancers. And I remember, because I like submitted myself for the casting, and they were like, oh yeah, like it's gonna be here, this is what you're gonna have to do, and this is what you're gonna have to wear. I read what you're gonna have to wear, and I'm like, oh my god, like I can't do this. Like, look at my size. Like, I don't want to look like that in that type of outfit. And immediately I was like, oh, forget it, I'm not doing it. But the casting director said yes to me based off just my photo. And I was like, oh well, yeah, he knew how I looked. And I was like, okay, well, that's great that they like what they see, but I'm uncomfortable now. Yeah. So when people are giving you something, take it. And it's a shame, because I look back on that and I'm like, that would have been an awesome experience. We let our insecurities run our life. Why cheat yourself of the life you deserve, that you work for? You can kind of create the path that you want to be on after that situation happens, because you're like, hey, like I did that and it was crap. Never again. Hey, I did that and it was actually good for me. Now I know kind of how to navigate my life and what I want next for myself.
Yeah, I mean, fear and self-doubt really are a sickness, and I feel that a lot of people suffer from that, and it's a huge thing. It can come from past traumas, it can come from people telling you your whole life you can't do something. It could even come from one moment in time. You could be the most confident person on the planet, and you hear one negative comment towards yourself and it just breaks you. That's why you have to be so careful with your words and how you talk to people, and even just the attitude and the energy you bring to people, because that can be damaging.
I think it's also important to celebrate your successes, even if they're small. I think it will really reinforce that what you're doing is good and you're on the right track and you're doing a great job. Oftentimes we just forget to be proud of ourselves.
When you deal with fear and self-doubt, it doesn't go away, but you find better ways to deal with it and cope with it. And I think one of the things I did was just to, and again, it's easier said than done, you have to find what works for you, but for me, I just said, you know what, you're unhappy now, so if you're unhappy now, change it. If I'm gonna just start saying yes to opportunities and saying yes to doing things, like we started a YouTube channel, I was like, you know what, let's just go for it. I don't think every video we've done is amazing. There's actually so much work that needs to be done, but we're still putting it out there. So don't think that because you do something you have to love it and think it's perfect. I hate the way I look in 90% of our videos. You know what I mean? And I know you feel the same way, but we're still putting it out there because that's not the point of it. What if this was what you had to survive off of? What if you had to do this to survive? And that's how I started looking at things, and I was like, you know what? My passions, I have to start looking at it as, what if this is what I had to do to survive? Because we do things we hate to survive, so why are we not putting extra effort into the things we're passionate about and actually make us happy? Right? Because when you're not doing what you're passionate about, you're unhappy anyways. So what's the point of that? You are choosing to stay alive and live, you may as well do that. You may as well live your best life. And that's what we try to do all the time. And again, it's not perfect. We're not going to sit here and love everything we do. But that's one thing that I do. Start turning your negatives into positives. When you think something negative, immediately turn it into a positive. And what I feel helps, look at your body of work and critique it as if somebody else did it. Anything. It can be the smallest thing, but look at whatever you did as if somebody else did it and critique it that way, because you are 110 times more critical negatively of yourself than you are of others. Any little imperfection, we pick at ourselves and we self-doubt our work, and we just do all these things, and it's constant fear of, well, what is this person gonna think, or self-doubt because, oh, I'm not good enough. But it's like, no, pretend it's someone else.
Yeah, that's honestly a very good strategy, and I think it'll help to eventually train you to actually think of yourself in a much more positive, beautiful light, which also brings me to the power of manifestation. We spend so much time saying all these negative things, exuding negative energy. We become our thoughts. I feel like you'll truly start to see whatever it is your mind thinks and believes. Obviously, again, no one is perfect.
That's so true.
It is true.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, and we all have our good and bad days. We're human. There's nothing we can do about that. It's the worst when you're the one who's poisoning yourself. It's just so unfair. Like, I wish I could just take that away from everyone, because it is such a hard thing to actually get a good handle on, and it's something Chelley and I work on every single day. There's just no point on thinking negatively, because it's only going to hurt you. If you think positively, and let's say you have a goal to save $10,000 by the end of the year. If you keep saying, you know, I'm not going to be able to do this, what's the point? Like, there's no point. I mean, yeah, you sure as hell aren't going to make that goal.
Because then you're not going to make the decisions to achieve that goal. When you start thinking negatively and you say, what's the point? Then you'll start ordering this online, going to eat out, or getting skipped the whatever. And then
your actions will follow.
Exactly. All that money you could have been saving, you're blowing it, because in your mind you're thinking, well, I can't do it anyways. But hello, you could have done it. You could have put that straight into your savings.
Exactly.
You can do it. It's just you have to think positively about it.
Exactly.
And make wise decisions to achieve those goals.
Because the body will really follow what the mind is telling it to do. I mean, I believe that, and I've been victim to that. I'm sure many people have been. Yeah, it's, you know, it's not some crazy thing. We're all human. This is just how the body and mind work. But that's exactly why we say manifest your dreams and manifest positivity
and manifest your destiny, baby.
Why would you want to sit there and waste time being mean to yourself? It's just, you're just being mean to yourself. And again, easier said than done. Everyone's going to manifest the life they want in the way that works for them. When you can be working toward your goals instead of beating yourself up, why not do that? And then you're gonna look, a month is gonna pass, you're gonna be like, what did I do except for talk shit about myself the whole time? When you could have actually just been working toward it. Whether you were successful at it or not, try. Focus on trying rather than being like, oh, there's no point because it's just not doable. Like, anything is literally doable. You can do whatever you want in this world. So
you just have to put the work in and believe in yourself.
If we can just try to manifest what we want instead of manifesting insecurities and putting our fears out there, it's 100% fine to acknowledge your areas of opportunity. I want to say, I think that's actually very healthy to be like, hey, like, I actually want to get better at this, or I want to keep trying at this. That's a healthy thing to do. But beating yourself up, why? You know, you wouldn't let some bully do it to you. Like, don't do it to yourself.
That's another thing. A lot of the time we will self-doubt so much and we will put ourselves down so much, but the second that somebody says something negative to us, you're defensive. So why are you defensive? Because you know it's not true.
Yeah.
So for example, let's say you're thinking to yourself, I don't do anything with my life, I don't do this, I don't do that, I'm selfish, whatever it might be. You can think that 24/7, but the second somebody says it to you, like, oh, you're a waste, you're defensive. You're just like, no, I'm not, I do this and that, and then all of a sudden everything comes up, you know? And it depends. It's most of the time it's with somebody you're comfortable with when they get at you, right? And then it's like, well, wait, why did you come up with that in the moment? Because in your head, you know that that's not true. You know that you're worthy of this. You know that you do this in your life, you know that you accomplished this. So that's how you need to think as well.
Stand up for yourself, even to yourself, if that's what you have to do. We definitely fight battles with ourselves, and
daily too, guys.
Yeah, you know, like everything's a work in progress. It's never, this stuff isn't magic. It's not gonna happen overnight. I think it just really takes some time with yourself and patience and being kinder to yourself. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself and being kind and just giving yourself space to figure things out. But don't bash yourself when you're really trying and you're in a good, happy place where you feel like you're actually getting the things you want done, whether it's perfect or not. Just keep going. Guys, like, we all start from the bottom in some regard. We have to start from the bottom. That's how the experience of life is. No one's born perfect. We all have to train. We all have to work, learn, study.
It won't come magically. You have to put in some sort of work, and it helps when you're passionate about something, because then it won't feel like hard work. We work so much, and like on our YouTube I'm talking about, we have other jobs, but on our YouTube specifically, we work so hard and so many hours, and we still, even now, like, I know we've only been doing it for a short while, so people who have been doing it longer will know what we're talking about. But it's like, oh, you're actually working, oh, you're doing this, or oh, you can just do that later, or that's like whatever. But no, you don't know how much work goes into it. And even when you guys see this video, there's gonna be probably 1,000 takes that we messed up, or the hours of editing, or when the internet's not working and we can't get it. You know what I mean? There's so much struggle that goes behind it, but then you guys see a final product and you're like, oh, something positive, you say, but there was so much that went into it, and it's a lot of work, but it doesn't feel like it because we're passionate about it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And you know, I really hope that everyone can find something that they're truly passionate about, that they just love so much. I think it makes the whole experience that much more worth it. And I know when we reach some of the YouTube goals that we have for ourselves, it's really going to feel worth it. It already does, to be honest.
A few things I wanted to touch on was, number one, learn when to say yes and no, because that's the most important thing you'll ever do for yourself. Like I was saying before, I turned myself into a yes man, even if it was something I was terrified of. It's easier said than done, but you just have to do it. Certain things you just have to force yourself, and the outcome will be amazing. And then learning when to say no. Don't be afraid to say no. I think that's a really big thing for people, that they can't say no. It's like, oh, this person needs my help, I have to help them. Well, sure, you can help them because you love them, but make sure you put yourself first. You need to help yourself first. There are so many people that I have encountered, and even myself, I've done it too. It's easier to help someone else than help yourself.
Definitely easier to take on other people's issues.
Yeah, because you can help those people. It makes you feel good, but then when it's time to turn the attention on yourself, it's like, oh no. You either feel you don't deserve it, or you feel like you don't have time for certain things for yourself.
You're not really ready to face your problems.
Right,
also.
You're not ready. That's a big one too. But you know what? You just have to get ready, because why can you make time for all these other people? Regardless of how important they are and how much you love them, you need to make the time for yourself first. Otherwise, in the long run, you will start to resent those people that you are doing things for, because a lot of the time there's no reciprocation, and that's not what we do it for. Like, we don't help people to get anything in return, but it's just respect. And like, again, your mind will go there. I do all this for this person and whatever. Like, even if you're not the type to think that way, it will come out.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, even if you don't mean it maliciously, that's just your internal being like, but what about me? It's natural.
Even just something as simple as your friends wanting to call you or hang out with you, but it's not a good time, and out of fear of them feeling a way about you, you say, okay, yeah, sure. But then you have something that you were supposed to get to, or something that you were supposed to work on, and then by the time you're done hanging out with them or making them feel good, you feel like crap, because it's like, well, great, now I have to do this tomorrow. I'm not going to do this anymore because I don't have time. You need to put yourself first and learn to say no. You will notice that the realest ones will understand, regardless if it's friends, family, whoever. If they care about you and know you're trying to better yourself, then
they're gonna support you through that, you know, and they're gonna be like, yeah, check in with me later, like, no problem.
The realest ones want the best for you. And that brings me to my next point. Surround yourself with like-minded people. There's a difference between surrounding yourself with people who have the same interests as you and like-minded people. You and I could have totally different interests, but our mentalities are alike in terms of what our goals are for our future. Do we have goals? Are we working hard to achieve them? You could be working on becoming WNBA star, and I could be working on curing cancer, but we have the same mentality and work ethic.
The same headspace,
right?
You know?
And sometimes it's good to hang out with people who have different interests because you learn so much from those people. And I'm not saying go out there and find something totally random and be like, oh, are you interested in this? Okay, cool, let's talk. It's not that. It's just surround yourself with those people that give you that same energy you bring to the table, the same positivity you bring to the table,
and drive and ambition.
Yeah, uplifting, like uplift each other. It doesn't matter what it is, just uplift each other. We could talk about this for hours, guys, because we're so passionate about this stuff. And I also feel that I was all over the place because I get so excited talking about this stuff that I can't even handle it. But we just want the best for everybody. We're working on ourselves every day.
We certainly don't have it all together. If we appear to do or if we don't, I don't know. But we just wanted to shed light on something that we feel is a big issue right now.
Yeah.
Just from what we've noticed.
And one more thing before we close the video. Don't feel bad about feeling bad, if that makes sense. If you wake up and you're just not feeling the day that day, that's totally fine. Don't beat yourself up for not being productive. And that's something that Nay and I learned a lot. The two of us, if we're not doing something every second of the day, we're like, oh my god, we're not productive, we're not this, like we're being wasties, we're doing this or that, you know what I mean? Like we're whatever, you know what I mean? I'm just using the lingo. But even if you need the day, let yourself have it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just do it. If you want to cheat on your diet, do it and let it go. You have a good day, great, don't dwell on it. You have a bad day, don't dwell on it. It's the same thing. Like dwelling on things is just so exhausting and it's draining. Just that's the one thing I wanted to end off with is don't feel bad about allowing yourself to have a moment. Just let it happen and then move on. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. I feel like I was rambling a lot because I'm really passionate about this stuff. I also have to pee really badly because this green tea just shot right through my system. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and message us things that you want to hear because we were kind of just talking and spitting things that we've been discussing with each other. But if you guys want advice or us to discuss anything specific, just let us know.
We're here for it all and we got you. We really always do. We love you guys so much. We thank you for your support time and time again. And we appreciate you so much. You're doing an amazing job, seriously.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you're nasty, and don't forget to
tell your besties, y'all. Let's get to 1K subscribers.
Keep that love coming, guys. We love you. Reach out to us if you need us. We're here to talk, and we'll see you tomorrow. Later, Kedz.